My informative speech is about mental illnesses. Robin Williams was an airman, a doctor, a genie, a nanny, a president, a professor, a bangarang Peter Pan, and everything in between. But he was one of a kind. He arrived in our lives as an alien, but he ended up touching every element of the human spirit. He made us laugh, he made us cry, he gave his immeasurable talent freely and generously to those who needed it most, from our troops stationed abroad to the marginalized on our own streets. On August 11, 2014, former President Barack Obama delivered this sentiment in a tribute to Robin Williams. Earlier this same day, actor and comedian Robin Williams had taken his own life. William was known by many as a hilarious and undefeatable man. Said to be one of the greatest actors in his era, Williams proved how great his talent was by acting as if there was not a war inside his own head. Both his family and the world would later find out that Williams suffered from depression and a form of dementia that caused him to hallucinate. Robin Williams took his own life because of a mental disorder. I want to inform you about mental illnesses. We'll explore what mental illnesses are and try to understand them, look at how they affect people, and see why mental illnesses can lead to suicide and how to treat the symptoms. Many of my older relatives have and still do suffer from a variety of mental illnesses, including depression, post-traumatic stress disorders, dementia, and more. Therefore, I'm not an expert on the subject, but I do have an idea on how mental illnesses can affect both the person with the disorder and the people around them. Unfortunately, the tragedy that happened to Robin Williams has happened to many people. Let's now look at the definition of mental illnesses and what exactly a mental illness is to try and understand mental illnesses a little better. The definition of mental illnesses has a wide range of definitions. One of the definitions is disorders that affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. A mental health concern becomes a mental illness when ongoing signs and symptoms cause frequent stress and affect your ability to function. Mental illnesses can also change in the lives of both the person with the disorder and the people close to them. It can change things in your daily life. Now that we've looked at what a mental illness is, let's look at how it affects people. Today, mental illnesses affect many people throughout the world, both with mental illnesses and without. Approximately 1 in 5 adults in the United States, that's close to 43.8 million or 18.5% of the United States, experiences a mental illness in a given year. Half of all chronic mental illnesses begin by age 14, 3/4 by age 24. Despite effective treatment, there are long delays, sometimes decades, between the first appearance of symptoms and when people actually receive the disorder. A mental illness is a condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, or mood. Such conditions may affect someone's ability to relate to others and function each day. Each person will have different experiences, even people with the same diagnosis. Why do you think so many people suffer from mental disorders? How can suffering from a mental illness lead to suicide, and how can you treat the symptoms? Mental illness is a leading cause of disability. Untreated mental illnesses can lead to severe emotional, behavioral, and physical health problems. Complications linked to mental illnesses include family conflicts, relationship difficulties, social isolation, drug and alcohol-related problems, missing important events like work or school, financial and legal problems, self-harm or harm to others, unexpected medical issues, and unhappiness. Medication can be used if necessary to treat depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders. Medication can also lower a person's risk of hurting themselves. Depending on the person's health diagnosis, other medications can be used to alleviate the symptoms. I encourage you to do your own research to try and better understand just how serious mental illnesses are. Today, we learned about mental illnesses. We looked at what a mental disorder is, the effect a mental disorder has on people, both the person with the disorder and people around them, and how suffering from a mental illness can lead to suicide. Example, Robin Williams. One final thought, mental illnesses are very serious and nothing to take lightly. If you or somebody you know is suffering from any of the symptoms of a mental illness, treat the symptoms with medication, therapy, or another effective treatment as soon as possible. My grandmother suffered and still does from depression. She takes medicine for it every single day, and it does affect the relationship I have with her. I would love if she didn't have depression, and I would love if she didn't have that mental illness, but she does, and I have to deal with it, and it affects me, it affects her, it affects everyone around us, but it's life. Some questions I have are, was I talking too fast? Because I feel like I was just trying to get it over with, so I was talking really fast. Another question I had is, were my transitions good? Because I feel like I was kind of rambling and they like weren't flowing together right. Also, was my introduction, like, did it get your attention at all? Like, most people know Robin Williams, and most people know that he killed himself from a mental disorder, so I thought it would be a good kind of way to lead into what I'm talking about. And also, was I like moving my eyes too much? Because I feel like I was looking and like looking back too much, but just answer my questions, please. Thank you.